I guess you're here because Reese has been kicking your ass. Let's get it out of the way. Reese, in what seems to be one of the best fights in the game, is primarily a spellcaster. That means that you should be worrying about the spellcasting capabilities of this witch and not her melee prowess. Her melee attacks are nothing important and you shouldn't really bother memorizing any of them. What you want to avoid is staying at a distance where she can just pepper you with spells. Tool number 1, Wind Cutter with the dual wield. For me, this was the game changer when it comes to winning this fight, because you can cast it and closing the distance in an instant, putting you on the offensive against someone who has to keep you at a distance to be effective. Number 2, mobility. As you can see here, she's creating a lot of damage zones, and your ability to recover stamina and get back into the fight whilst also being fleet at your feet is super important for this scenario. I wouldn't try doing this with super heavy armor. Her damage is high but not overwhelming, so you don't really need to worry about one-shots. What you need to worry about is applying pressure and staying on her. Her unblockable attack hits twice. There you see me deflected on the first attempt, but even if the first attempt fails, you can always try the second swipe that she performs. Once you block her, she will be susceptible to a lot of damage. She doesn't seem to have much poise in general. And since corruptors in this game are not considered human, she doesn't have a stamina bar. She has a break gauge, I would say. Once you empty it, she will be susceptible to a brutal attack. Attack her as much as you can before initiating this brutal, because it is super important to get through phase 1 as safely as possible. I just wasted one heal in my case, and then I went into phase 2. In phase 2, she pretty much becomes Sister freed from Dark Souls 3, and she is better at killing stuff by every conceivable metric. Her melee attacks are now dangerous and will reach further. She will fly for longer periods of time, and her mixing close quarters combat with spellcasting will throw your bring guards and dodges off the rhythm more often than not. She also has a greater health pool than what she did in phase 1, and her defenses include the occasional activation of a shield that will reduce your damage output. There are no two ways of going about this, guys. The most important part of winning this is staying mobile and being on point with your counterattacks and your brings. As you can see here, again, there is not a lot of poise involved. As soon as I was able to counterattack her charge, I was able to take away about 20% of her entire health pool. The problem is that she can also damage you a lot and pretty fast at pretty much any given distance. The walls that you see here are a very interesting mechanic. What she does is she creates smaller arenas within the boss arena and tries to lure you in there by being a bit passive. If you end up trying to get in there though, she will pretty much have an opportunity to trap you and restrict your movements, which of course will lead to you taking damage out of sources that you would otherwise would have avoided. You don't want a wall of searing light on your back when you're trying to focus on what is in front of you. As with the first phase, you can deflect some of your projectiles back at her, and this might be one of the most consistent ways to deal damage without having to close the gap. Sadly, if you want to play it safe, you will probably just try to avoid. Again, one piece of advice that I give people that generally forget about it: if you look like you're gonna win the fight and you have your phantom form active, just activate it when the boss is low, as you see me do here, and wrap it up and stay as safe as possible. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm covering everything in Khazan. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell if you found this useful. And until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers.